Transform your life in 15 minutes. This is a 30-day challenge where we're actually doing 5-minute exercises, one each on the mind, the body, and the soul. For the mind portion, we are reading the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And of course, for the body, we are doing the sun salutations with some yoga. And for the soul portion of the challenge, we're doing 5-minute meditation where we're focused on Ujjayi breathing. My name is Pia McAdams, and I am an accounting professor, and I'm also a certified coach. I specialize in personal and small business finance and also fitness. I help people reach goals in those areas. I want to welcome you to the challenge. This is day 28, as I mentioned, so we're moving right along, and we're coming toward the end of the challenge. And I know I've been getting a lot of inquiries and requests about what's coming up next. And I promise you, we'll get into all that. I just want to finish. Don't want to take up the time talking about that right now. We'll wait to the end and tell you about what's coming up next, because if you know me, if you don't, now you will. I always have fun, upcoming, exciting stuff going on. So yes, I do have plans, and I promise you, I will let you know. I know I've been getting inquiries offline about what's coming up next. Wait, keep your hats on. Okay, so to get started with the challenge, because there's only 5 minutes here in each of these sections, I want to talk about the psycho-cybernetics for those of you that are just now coming on. And by the way, thank you for watching. For those of you that have taken the time, particularly those that have taken the time to watch it this whole 28 days, including those that are watching the recording, I appreciate you doing that. And I also want to welcome my live members. Good morning. How are you doing? And always, again, new comers as well. I want to welcome you to the transformation. And basically, the premise of this whole transformation is this: we are one made up of 3 parts. We're made up of mind, the body, and the soul. And as it referenced, 2/3 of our 3 parts is internal. So what the premise of this challenge is to help you transform your life. If you focus on all 3 parts, then you will have a transformation. What a lot of people do is they focus on one part, namely their body, because they look at themselves in the mirror and then they make critiques, negative and positive, but mainly negative. You know how we are, especially us women. We make negative critiques on how we feel about our body. And I just want to kind of interject for those that have been watching me. We know what that does internal. But anyway, so I like to use the analogy of your house. Your body is your house. And with that being said, if you paint the outside of your house, does that mean that you have a brand new house, particularly if the inside is a total mess, like it's a total disaster area? No, because guess what? You live inside of your house. So if you clean up on the inside, it's going to reflect on the outside. And so that's the premise of this challenge and how the transformation is going to take place, because we're focusing on all 3 parts, not just one. All right, so with that being said, in this book, Psycho-Cybernetics, it's talking about the workings of the mind, and particularly the subconscious. So for the last 2 days, I've been holding up this drawing about our mind, because I want to make sure, particularly if you're new, you have a visual picture of what your mind looks like. Because a lot of people think their brain is their mind, but your brain is your brain. It's an organ. This this will give you a mental picture of your mind. So the top portion of your mind, you have the conscious, and then, which is your thinking mind, and in the bottom portion we have our subconscious, which is our emotional mind, and then of course you have your body. So what you think and what you feel is going to result in your actions and results, or lack thereof. And I also explained that as a child, we were born with just a subconscious mind, and we got imprinted in our blueprint comes from our environment, like from our parents and everything, like ideas about money, relationships, religion, everything. All those beliefs and habits and everything was imprinted into our subconscious mind. And so that stuck into us as a mental image, self-image, that we carry around with us today. I also want to mention that the good thing about it is, because we know this now, we also know that the top portion of our mind, our thinking mind, I reference this as your drill sergeant. And the purpose of the drill sergeant is to give orders. So as we think, we're giving orders, right? And not just orders to ourselves or orders to people, but through the universe, we're giving everything orders. And then the bottom portion of our mind, which is the subconscious, the emotional mind, is like recruits. And the job of the recruits is just to carry out the orders by saying, yes, drill sergeant. So just real quickly, that's why it's very, very important that you constantly think positive thoughts, because if you think thoughts of like, I can't, then your subconscious is going to say, yes, drill sergeant, you can. So that's what we've been talking about. We also learn from this book that there are ways to pre-program your self-image. Now let me back up, because you may be saying, okay, I get all that, Pia, but what does this have to do with me? Well, in your life, if you are having trouble reaching your goals, or if you're having trouble, like even day to day, I talked with someone last night and she's like, Pia, sometimes I just have a hard time just getting out of bed. Like I'm very motivated, but I just have a hard time getting out of bed. So things like that, if you're having trouble in life, possibly because it could be something that has to do with your mental image. So we're finding out different ways that we can help pre-program our mind so that it will make us more accomplished. And remember, I talked about yesterday, only you can define what success means for you. Now, a couple of things that we talked about. Good morning, Patricia. Good to see you. Another thing that we talked about was the different types. So we talked about visual imaging. We talked about visualization, visual imaging, mental picturing. We talked about relaxation, and we also talked about act as if. These are some of the things that you can do to pre-program your self-image. Now, you want to hear something that's ironic? If you think about it, these are the things that we did as a child, right? We used to dream, we used to do imagination, we used to have play, we played house, we played tea, we played cops and robbers, we played cowboys and Indians. We did all of that as a child, and then as we start growing up, the adults in our lives would kind of like drum it out of us. Stop daydreaming, pay attention to what we would commonly hear from your teachers. And then so back, fast forward, just like everything else in life comes back full circle, these are the things that we really should be doing throughout our lives. So we're learning this now. For those of us that are older, we're learning this now in our life, that the things that we did as a child worked, and we should still implement those things as an adult as well. Now, I'm not saying that you should be daydreaming in a meeting. Well, sometimes you do, because some of those meetings can be very boring, but you understand what I'm saying, right? In other words, use those tools that we learned as a child to help us succeed as an adult. All right, so specifically, we are finishing up chapter 6 today, and we are actually learning about 5 rules for freeing our creative mechanism. And just to recap, for those of you that haven't been with us, rule number 1 was do your worrying before you place your bet, not after the wheel has started turning. And that's a reference to roulette. So do your worrying before you make a decision. Once you make a decision to act on something, whatever the decision is, once you make a decision, put all the worrying aside. Number 2 was to form a habit of consciously responding to the present moment. Try practicing staying in the present moment. Don't worry about the past, don't worry about the future. Enjoy the moment as it unfolds in front of you. Number 3 was try to do only one thing at a time. So again, when we talk about goals, focus on one goal at a time. And once you reach that goal, then go to the next goal. And then finally, number 4, we talked about sleep on it. And I'm pretty sure you've all had experiences with this where something was in your mind, something bothering you, you laid on it and went to sleep, and then when you woke up, mysteriously an idea appeared, a solution appeared. Well, sleep on it is another way to release your creative mind mechanism. And so today we're going to talk about the 5th and final rule before we go on to chapter 7. So, number 5 is relax while you work. In chapter 4, you learn to induce physical and mental relaxation while resting. Continue with the daily practice in relaxation, and you will become more and more proficient. In the meantime, you can induce something of that relaxed feeling and the relaxed attitude while going about your daily activities if you will form the habit of mentally remembering the nice relaxed feelings that you induce. Stop occasionally during the day. It only needs to take a moment, and remember in detail the sensations of relaxation. Remember how your arms felt, your legs, your back, your neck, your face. Sometimes forming a mental picture of yourself lying in bed or sitting relaxed and limp in an easy chair helps recall the relaxed sensations. Mentally repeating to yourself several times, I feel more and more relaxed, also helps. Practice this remembering faithfully several times each day. You will be surprised at how much it reduces fatigue and how much better you'll be able to handle situations. For by relaxing and maintaining a relaxed attitude, you remove those excessive states of concern, tension, and anxiety which interfere with the efficient operation of your creative mechanism. In time, your relaxed attitude will become a habit, and you will no longer need to consciously practice this. And as this again goes to what I was talking about with this transformation, which is why it's just 5 minutes. So we do 5 minutes of mind, 5 minutes of body. And this relaxation that we're talking about, can be attained through meditation. And as I recall, I mentioned that, for some people, even taking 15 minutes is a stretch for them. It's like, I just don't have time. You do have time. You have priorities, and your main priority should be yourself, and that's not selfish. And if it is, so what? You need to be selfish for yourself. But anyway, so I recommended that take 5 minutes in the morning to do the yoga. Take 5 minutes during the middle of the day to do your relaxation, your meditation. And then just before you go to bed, read something positive, and that will help you get into this state. And this is what we're talking about. So now in chapter 7, we're going to go on to you can acquire the habit of happiness. Now in this chapter, I discussed the subject of happiness, not from a philosophical viewpoint, but from a medical standpoint. Dr. John Schindler defines happiness as a state of mind in which our thinking is a pleasant and good state of the time. Did I say it right? A state of mind in which our thinking is pleasant, a good share of the time. From a medical standpoint and also from an ethical standpoint, I do not believe that simple definition can be improved upon. Okay, so in other words, the definition of happiness is a state of mind in which our thinking is pleasant, a good share of the time. Now, happiness is a good medicine. Happiness is native to the human mind and its physical machine. We think better, perform better, feel better, and are healthier when we are happy. Even our physical sense organs work better. Russian psychologist Dr. K, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, tested people when they were thinking pleasant and unpleasant thoughts. He found that when he was thinking pleasant thoughts, they could see better, taste, smell, and hear better, and detect finer differences in touch. Dr. William Bates proved that eyesight improves immediately when the individual is thinking pleasant thoughts or visualizing pleasant scenes. Vision educator Margaret Corbett found that memory is greatly improved and that the mind is relaxed when the subject is thinking pleasant thoughts. Psychosomatic medicine has proved that our stomach, liver, heart, and all our internal organs function much better when we are happy. Thousands of years ago, wise old King Solomon said in the Proverbs, "A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth up the bones." It is significant, too, that both Judaism and Christianity prescribe joy, rejoicing, thankfulness, cheerfulness as a means toward righteousness and the good life. Harvard psychologists studied the correlation between happiness and criminality and concluded that the old Dutch proverb, "happy people are never wicked," was scientifically true. They found that a majority of the criminals came from unhappy homes, had a history of unhappy human relationships. A 10-year study of frustration at Yale University brought out that much of what we call immortality and hostility toward others is brought about by our own unhappiness. Dr. Schindler said that unhappiness is the sole cause of all psychosomatic ills, that happiness is the only cure. The very word dis-ease means a state of unhappiness, dis-ease. A recent survey showed that by and large, optimistic, cheerful businessmen who looked on the bright side of things were more successful than pessimistic businessmen. It also appears that our popular thinking about happiness, we have managed to get to the cart before the horse. Be good, we say, and you will be happy. I would be happy, we say to ourselves, if I could be successful and healthy. Be kind and loving to other people, and you will be happy. It might be near the truth if we said, be happy, and you'll be good, more successful, happier, feel and act more charitable towards others. I like that. It's a good stopping point. So in other words, today, make it a conscious effort to be happy, and then you're going to be good, more successful, healthier, feel and act more good and charitable towards others. All right. Good stuff there. So that concludes our mental portion of the challenge. There we go. So now we're going to take a little tour and a little walk down my hall of positivity to finish the challenge. Let me get to there we go. Finish the challenge where we will go on to the yoga and then also on the meditation. And again, I will say of all three of these, the most response I'm getting about is regarding the meditation, because everyone knows about meditation, but very few people practice it, or when they do practice it, as a new meditator, they become impatient with themselves, and so they kind of give it up. But we all know the benefits of meditation. So this is the one I get the most response on as far as the meditation. But I just want to kind of, before we get started, I just want to remind yourself that meditation is a practice, so you have to be patient with yourselves, because we're constantly bombarded with thoughts, thoughts and thoughts. But I promise you, if you keep up with the meditation, like that's why we just started with 5 minutes. I know for some of you, 5 minutes is an extremely long time because of the thoughts in your mind. But that's why I give you something to focus on, which is your breath. Like just focus on inhaling and exhaling. Just focus on your breath. And over time, you'll start to be able to control those thoughts. Okay, so don't give up on yourself with the practice. Just keep at it and be patient with yourself. All right, so we're going to move on to the yoga, and then we'll finish and conclude with the meditation. Remember, join me. Don't just watch. Namaste. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the meditation portion. This is where we're going to be doing 5-minute meditation, focusing on our breath. Again, you're going to inhale for the count of 1, exhale from the count of 2. Come to a comfortable seated position. If you have your shoes on, go ahead and take your shoes off so your feet can be grounded. Get in a nice comfortable position. Just kind of relax your mind. Close your eyes, and as thoughts come in, again, just gently push them aside and focus on your breath. release, relax, and return refreshed and calm. You've done something good for yourself today. Thank you for joining me for day 28 of the Transform Your Life in 15 Minutes. And I'm looking forward to you having a great and blessed day. And I will see you tomorrow, same time, right? Bye.